All right, it is 1 o'clock Central, so we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you for tuning into today's webinar, 10 New Ag Teacher Tips in 20 Minutes. My name is Em, and I will be your moderator for today. Presenting, we have our lead presenter, Emily Kurth. She is the Senior Campaign Specialist here at RealityWorks and has been with us for over 8 years. She collaborates regularly with educators and administrators to understand how they are implementing our products and programs, as well as what they are doing to engage students today in high demand skills. She is a frequent presenter on topics regarding student engagement at education conferences, trade shows, and during webinars. Before we get started, I do want to cover a couple things. First, today's presentation is being recorded and all attendees will receive a link to that recording, as well as the handouts that Emily will be going over. Also, for attending live, you will receive a certificate of completion, and you should see all of that in your inbox within 24 hours after the presentation. We will have time at the end for a Q&A, so if you do have any questions, please feel free to use the Q&A or the chat feature located at the bottom of your screen. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and pass things over to Emily to get us going.
Thank you, Em. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you, and welcome everyone. Thanks again for joining us today. We are so excited to be sharing our top new teacher resources with you all today, especially because today is National Teach Ag Day. How exciting. We know that as educators, you are working hard every day to engage your students, connect with them, and help them learn. And if these resources can help you save time or enhance your instruction, we're delighted. On that note, I just want to quickly reiterate what Em just said. We are sharing quite a bit of links and resources with you today. So please don't worry if you don't have time to write everything down or create a list. Again, we will share those slides, including the links with everyone attending today's webinar following the presentation. So let's get started. We're keeping today's presentation to 20 minutes or less, so we are going to jump right in. So first, here is your 30-second introduction to RealityWorks. For those of you who aren't familiar with us, we are an employee-owned company based in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, that creates experiential learning tools for teaching job and life skills. We actually got our start over 20 years ago when a former NASA engineer named Rick Germain created the very first RealCare Baby infant simulator, and then went on to found the company that's now RealityWorks. Today, our tools combine curriculum with hands-on learning experiences, plus student activities and assessments. RealCare Baby is still around, but you can now look to us for tools like our bovine birthing and ultrasound simulator, virtual reality welding simulators, wearable sensitivity suits. If you have time, we encourage you to check out our website and see it all. So let's get started. The first tip of the day focuses on a great partner of ours, as well as others, the Ag Ed Discussion Lab. That is a private Facebook group that describes itself as dedicated to all things ag, but particularly devoted to providing resources and mentors to new teachers. And in fact, we're kicking today's webinar off with that tip, get social. As a company, we partner with educators and administrators to create tools that add real value to classrooms, and we truly value our partnerships with groups like this. If you're a new teacher looking for resources, seek them out, as well as the others listed on your screen now. In fact, I was recently visiting with a pair of Wisconsin agriculture educators just a couple of weeks ago, and they told me social media is an essential starting point for new teachers to connect with others, find mentors again, and ask questions. That was one of their big tips that they told me. They really encourage new teachers, if you are new and you're not sure where to go for help or resources, or you have a question, don't hesitate to ask, and social media groups like the ones listed on your screen are a great safe space for that. Tip number 2 is to ask your students what works. This recommendation comes from a Wisconsin nurse educator who's been teaching geriatrics for over 2 decades, but this tip can apply to any classroom, including agriculture. For years, this instructor says she used in-class cues like body language and eye contact, plus her own experience, to decipher her students' learning styles as she taught them. And then, as she related to me, it occurred to her one day to simply ask before she even began teaching. So now she welcomes each new class of her nursing students with a quick questionnaire about their learning styles. And then she uses their answers to tailor her teaching methods and her activities and in-class assignments to her students' needs so that she can make sure that she's meeting those needs as she teaches. So this is a great tip you can apply to your own classroom. And in fact, if you want to do so, we recommend a couple of these free quizzes. These are all online sources to quick quizzes about your students' learning styles. So you can share one or if not more of these links with your students in class and gather some awesome information on their learning styles. And again, we'll share these links in our post-webinar email, so don't worry about frantically trying to write them down. We'll make sure everyone gets all of this information following the presentation. Our next tip is to focus on soft skills whenever possible. Soft skills or employability skills are considered the bedside manner of the workplace, and they are vital for all career paths. That's why it is so important to focus on soft skills whenever possible. Research continues to show that skills like teamwork, empathy, patience, and critical thinking are used in offices and at work sites across the country every day, and demand for those skills is growing, especially post-pandemic. So how can you help? You can do things like the activities on your screen. Create quick icebreaker activities focused on soft skills, like creating 3-minute conversation cards to teach your students how to make small talk, or have them practice their handshakes, introducing each other, standing up in class and sharing what they just learned about their partner in class. All of these small activities give your students a chance to practice things like communication, presentation skills, interviewing skills. You can expand these activities as time allows. And in fact, a great source of some of these activities and ideas and 5 posters on in-demand soft skills is accessible using the guide on your screen in front of you. So you can hop on our website using the link on your screen, download this guide, and you can get even more great activities and ideas for any classroom designed to engage your students in soft skills development. Tip number 4, watch our free webinars. Well, of course, as everyone listening to me talk right now knows, RealityWorks offers free webinars. We actually offer presentations monthly on a variety of topics, training tools, plus student engagement tips, soft skills teaching ideas, and more. And as you just heard, attendees receive certificates of completion you can use for professional development purposes, plus links to slides and handouts. If you are looking for another free webinar to learn more for your agriculture classroom, I highly recommend watching the replay of a webinar we hosted earlier this year, the link to which is on the screen in front of you. Webinar panelists included 3 agriculture educators from across the country, and they all shared tips on how they engage their students. Some of them use training tools, some of them use social media, some of them do other things. The webinar is full of great ideas and real stories from real teachers. So that link is on that slide in front of you now, and again, we'll share it with you after the presentation. All right, tip number 5, excuse me, is get creative on social media. And in fact, this tip focuses on one of the panelists in the webinar I just mentioned, Nathan Anderson. Now, if you are not already following Nathan Anderson on TikTok, we highly recommend you do so. He is a Minnesota agriculture educator who's got over 200,000 followers and 9 million likes on TikTok. And what he's really done recently is turn to this popular social media platform to increase student engagement in agriculture and get students to come to his classroom to learn agriculture topics. He posts videos regularly featuring common student questions, new learning aids he's using, like the image on your screen. He posts about teaching techniques. He posts about life as a teacher and life as a student. His videos are fun, they're catchy, and they help him engage his students and recruit new ones. Now, if you want to learn more about what Nathan is doing on TikTok to engage his students, we recommend you checking out the blog linked to on your screen now. It's a brief story on his classroom and what he's doing, as well as his tips for TikTok teacher success, if this is something that you'd like to try in your own classroom. Tip number 5, slightly related note as well, generate positive press. We recently spoke to educators from North Carolina's Harnett County School District, which has recently done some really exciting things to promote their district's CTE programs. They actually acquired a trades trailer, and the district has invested time and resources displaying it both at school and at community events as often as possible. Now, in their customer story, which I have linked on the screen in front of you, CTE Director Lindsay Hardy, who actually started her professional journey as an agricultural educator, shares how each opportunity to showcase a program is also an opportunity to get community buy-in, secure potential program funding, possibly even get the attention of new teachers and new employees, and of course, grow their CTE program as a whole. So we recommend the next time your students are practicing a new skill or using a new tool, hearing from a panelist of local professionals, don't hesitate to call your local news outlets, contact your news stations, contact the newspaper, post on social media. That positive press could make a really big impact. Tip number 7 is to bring in subject matter experts. So we alluded to that just now, a panelist of local experts in your classroom. This is a great strategy, especially because today's students want to see the relevancy of what you're teaching them. And what better way to demonstrate that relevancy than from a professional in the field? So depending on what you're teaching in class, right, you can seek local greenhouse managers, agricultural equipment technicians, environmental engineers, whatever profession applies to the content you're teaching. We recommend that you ask your students to prepare ahead of time for the guest speaker by writing a list of questions that they'd like to ask. And really try to remember that industry representatives want to help. In fact, part of my job here at Reality Works is interviewing professionals who help out in classrooms, as well as spending some time once or twice a year at our local technical college for their marketing program to talk to students and share tips and tricks for interviewing and whatnot. And even as a professional with a busy schedule, networking with these students who are our future workforce, after all, is always a delight. It's always inspiring and motivating. And in those experiences, personally, and in my experiences speaking with professionals who do the same thing in other classrooms across the country, I've yet to encounter a professional who doesn't enjoy doing this truly. Plus, tools like Zoom make tasks like this even easier because nowadays everyone's used to using them. So don't hesitate to reach out to your local community, invite professionals to come into your classroom, and save some time to reflect after the experience. Ask your students to talk about in class what they learned, what surprised them. You can do this in small groups or large groups. You could even incorporate a written reflection activity, whatever you have time for. But this is a stellar way to demonstrate the relevancy of what you're teaching. Tip number 8, of course, is to incorporate hands-on learning aids, which of course is our specialty here at Reality Works. We want to make sure that educators have the tools that they need to create those engaging learning environments. And one way to do that is to bring in some cool tools, learning aids that engage your students, provide those hands-on learning experiences, that immediate feedback that today's students crave, etc. And of course, research backs up the efficacy of tools and activities that are interactive and hands-on, and it benefits a variety of learning styles. You can learn more about the benefits of experiential learning if you're curious by reading the blog linked on your screen now. But of course, if you want to get started with hands-on learning aids in your classroom, if you want to learn more about how we could help you with that, we invite you to check out our latest program catalogs using the link on your screen now. We also offer a variety of implementation resources, guides, blogs, tips and tricks for using training tools like these in your classrooms. And that final bullet on your screen now is a great little review of the curriculum that accompanies our learning aids. You can read that blog and really get a better understanding of the breadth of lessons and activities and standards that we ensure all of our lessons align to. Or of course, you can give us a call. Of course, we are happy to help. All right, tip number 9 is to attend education conferences. Now, here at Reality Works, we are just wrapping up our favorite time of year, which is summer education conference season. For us, this time of year means traveling across the country to state and national education conferences, showcasing our training tools and connecting with teachers. And if you're attending an education conference for the first time, well, we put together some of the top tips we've learned from participating in conferences for more than 20 years. Tip number 1 is to visit with vendors. For us, there's nothing better than chatting with a teacher in real life at our exhibit booth. That's what we're there for. This is a particularly great way to meet your local Reality Works account manager and find out what's hot in your area, ask questions, explore new training tools in person, and more. You can read more tips and find out when we'll be at a conference in your area next, like FFA coming up next month, by reading the blog linked on your screen. And our final tip is to explore careers with our free lessons. Career exploration is an essential part of any CTE classroom, and that is why we partnered with subject matter experts to write lessons that explore the careers related to our hands-on learning aids. Now, the topics listed on your screen are just some of the career opportunities you'll find lessons on, and every lesson includes a focus, a learn, and a review activity, so you can easily introduce topics, create active learning experiences, and foster connections. Visit that link on your screen to access all of these free lessons and incorporate them into your classroom whenever you have the time. Phew, okay, I was talking fast. I wanted to make sure we covered all tips in 20 minutes or less. So Now what? We just hit you with a bunch of links, a bunch of ideas. What do you do with it all? Well, we recommend first visiting our website, right? Hop online to download those free lessons, the free soft skills guide, and more. And again, we'll share those resources via email following today's presentation. We also have several exciting webinars planned for later this fall, including a closer look at some brand new tools for teaching farm to fork concepts and aquaponic concepts. So those webinar titles and dates are listed on your screen. They're a few months out, but we just wanted to throw them out there now. And you can see everything, of course, that we offer for upcoming webinars on our website. And of course, contact us if anything we've said today has you wondering or you want to learn more about our learning aids or our training tools or our lessons. Give us a call. You can email us, call, or live chat on our website. All right, Emily, that concludes my teacher tips.
Sounds good. Emily, do you just want to go over what everybody will be receiving after the webinar today?
Absolutely. So we are going to send everyone a copy of this recording so you can replay the live webinar anytime. You'll get a copy of my presentation slides, which of course include links to all of those resources. And we'll also send you some direct links to these stories and assets that we've suggested you utilize today so you can get started with any of the resources that caught your eye today.
Awesome. And I'm not seeing any additional questions coming in at this time.
Okay, well, don't hesitate to give us a call, reach out via phone, email, or live chat if you find you have a question. Otherwise, thank you everyone for joining us today. We hope you learned at least one or two new tips you can take with you.